Alright, you guys ready?
Yep.
Remember? Loud and clear.
Loud, Dante.
Loud.
You're not allowed.
3, don't worry about them outside. Don't worry. 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Drake Witt.
I'm Javen Smith.
And I'm Dante Moore.
We're from Bryan Station High School in Lexington, Kentucky, and this is our project, Phones Down, a creative way to reduce bring-your-own-device-related distractions.
Our mission here at Phones Down is to increase student engagement and attention by reducing related distractions in the classroom. So the problem that we noticed here at Phones Down was while bring your own device related programs have ushered in new possibilities all around the world and the country, we've noticed some mobile devices also pose a serious distraction and impede on classroom learning.
So how we're going to solve that, okay? Because bring your own device is great because, we can Skype with people across the world as we do in most of our classes. But high school students don't know how to use their phones at appropriate times and need help accountable. So let's create a method for tracking accountability in cell phone usage. Phones Down is a mobile app that can track student cell phone usage during class. Simple as that.
Why implement Phones Down now? Well, 67% of K-12 students have a smartphone in Kentucky. And with this number, it's pretty safe to assume that many of these students actively get off task during instructional time.
So how does this exactly work? So first off, there is a student app. That student app, I will show you in a demo in a second, you can go in and start a new session. And that session will log time and send that back to a database hosted on Microsoft Azure. It uses the proximity sensor built into your phone. So if you didn't know, there's a small sensor near the earpiece that detects how far close something is. That's why your phone screen goes off when you make a call. So we can detect if your phone's down. And that will log to a database where, step 2, there is a web portal where teachers can access it. Teachers can monitor how often students have been on their phone at inappropriate times. And we hope to, in the future, utilize Microsoft's machine learning APIs to better use this knowledge to make predictions like, this person's especially on their phone a lot, without this teacher having to kind of dig through that. And that leads, the kind of product of this is accountability. So teachers can go, you're only on your phone 10 minutes out of this hour-long class. What's disengaging you? It can really lead to some revelations, and it also puts psychological pressure on the student to stay off of it while it gives them the comfort of being near it. So we made a really cool technique called hybrid development. That only allows us to write it once, but work on iOS, Android, and Windows Phone, covering the maximum amount of devices possible. We use the Ionic framework, Angular, TypeScript, and all that great stuff. These are fantastic, and it's all hosted on Microsoft Azure. Our API and our website is hosted on there, and we hope to be using machine learning APIs in the future to predict that data.
All right, so just like any other project out there, we have had our fair share of challenges, like the engineering, like when we were going over hardware in the beginning, just trying to figure out what works best for our app. We're either trying to use proximity sensor or motion to track how long a student is off their phone, just things like that, making sure we know how we're going to implement this and how our technology is going to work together. And we also had our code collaboration, just making sure my code isn't the same as Drake's, or mine isn't the same as Dante's, and making sure nothing's where it isn't supposed to be, just making sure we have all our ducks in a row and everything's nice and neat and looks pretty. We also had security. We want to make sure that our app is totally safe. We want students to be able to use it without having fear of their data being compromised by anyone.
And Azure helps a lot with that. We know firewalls, and you can make it FERPA compliant because most of them are HIPAA compliant, so it has the security there.
Of course. And then we also wanted to have our student adoption. We thought about this a lot too. We wanted to make sure it was easy for students to use and easy for teachers to put it into their classrooms. And then we also thought a lot about district security policies and bureaucracy, just making sure we're following all the guidelines and not breaking any laws or anything like that.
So our business model is pretty simple. We sell directly to schools and school districts. We are going to emphasize our value proposition kind of goes around that ease of use for students and teachers. As students, we know there's a lot of bad software in ed tech. And it impedes sort of your classroom because teachers don't want to use it, and it takes up instructional time because they got to learn it, and then they got to use it every single day, and then it's slow to load, and then, yeah, it's a disaster. So by creating that value, and do you think that disaster the school district is going to buy it the next year? If they're smart, no, but not even smart. So we create value there. We want to have our security to meet the district standards and meet student data laws like FERPA. It's going to be free for teachers. That's kind of our beta phase right now. But eventually, as we add more stuff in, we're going to go enter into software as a service sales to schools and school districts. Kind of our entry point will be the small schools and small school districts because they're sort of easier to enter into without as much red tape.
Now our only major competitor is Talking Points, and as you can see here, they have a lot of problems, including selling student data to advertisers, which directly breaks district guidelines, and they can't even use the app in school, so our app doesn't have that problem.
And we also have kind of unique perspectives of students, is like, what would we want to use? And then we can work closely with teachers to create a good platform that way too.
So on to the student survey results. We asked students, how often do you use your phone during school, in which 46% of them said regularly. We asked students, how often is your phone with you at school, in which 90% of them said every day. We asked students how much of the time you spent on your phone is for academic purposes, and not very often, and about half the time I'm on it, were major choices.
I mean, look at that. Oops, sorry.
We asked students, are you comfortable with your teacher keeping your phone, or is there a designated spot for phones during class? And with 75% of them said no. We asked students, does having your phone by your side comfort you? And which 90% said yes.
So you sort of notice that it's a psychological thing. If it's not near you, you start going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And we asked students, on a scale from 1 to 5, how much of a problem is phone theft for you? And the overwhelming answer, 5, was 33%. 40%, my bad. And finally, we asked students, would you be willing to have your phone running an app that keeps you from moving your phone for extra credit? In which 62% of them said yes, justifying your app.
And that's voluntarily too. So that's students saying, yeah, I'll use this without like a school policy, which for that amount of students who have previously like been on their phone all during class, is huge, and that really justifies that it's very feasible for this to work. It's a very feasible plan. But also kind of feasibility, we also talk to teachers like, we're validating this as a problem, right? So tell us a little bit about that, Javen.
Oh yeah, so like for our teacher survey, we asked them, like in the beginning, do cell phones cause distraction in class? And yes, they do. We asked them, how often do students use their phone in class without permission? And over 50% of them said they use them all the time without permission. So we asked them to rate it for us, and 62% of them said it was at number 5, the top tier level. And so we asked them about some of the strategies that they tried to use to combat the issue of inappropriate cell phone use. Sorry, they're kind of cut off a little bit here, but we have collection boxes, dedicated cubbies, just verbally telling them no, you shouldn't have them, outright banning them, and then some other teachers had some other mixed responses.
Did any of these work?
No, they did not. And so teachers are totally ready for a new platform.
How ready are they?
Very, very ready. They all said they'd be willing to use an app to keep students from using the technology at inappropriate times.
And this is teachers across all grade levels, all different, from you're tech savvy to like, what is the cloud?
Yeah,
Teachers.
48 of them.
So we got a very broad range. So we can talk until we're blue in the face about how awesome it is. But let's show you using a demo. All right. So I am mirroring my phone with QuickTime over here. So I have my lovely iPhone here. The demo version you'll get is an Android package. But anyway, just show you real quick what it is. So this is the Phones Down Teacher portal. I already have an account. I've already signed in. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go make a new class, right? What should we call it?
Mr. Hill.
Mr. Hill. All right, Mr. Hill. All right, and this
Technology teacher.
technology. Okay, wait. Mr. Hill's technology. There we go. And then this is block 1B. There we go. All right, so I have a short code I can go and join. So I'm going to go into my app over here and click the join class button. I'm going to go and join that short code. All right, that is 24 IZB ZIB. Oops. Okay, good though. Thank you. Hit join, and look at that. Current class, Mr. Oops. Thank you, QuickTime. Mr. Hill's technology. I can go and start logging time. Place your phone down, and it gives me 10 seconds to start that session. Now, mind you, QuickTime kind of glitches out because your screen turns black, and QuickTime's like, I don't know what to do. So the screen's black. It's logging time. Everything's good. So this is our teacher interface. So the way the app works is is if you interrupt it, it will give you sort of a 10-second grace period. To put it back down, if someone bumps into you, you gotta move. We understand that. So it gives you a grace period. After that, it will just end it. Yep, just kind of tells us that. So in a few seconds, it'll give us the amount of time we were off our phone or had our phones down, hence the name. So yeah, this is a prototype version, so in the actual thing, okay, there we go. 0.17 minutes logged, so we were off of our phone for a very long time. So we can go over here to Mr. Hill's technology, and looky there! I was off my phone for 17 seconds on this day. And there's my class code. So we're the Phones Down team. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you.